So welcome back to the channel. So today Adrian came by and he's going to help me clean all the fish tanks in the house and out in the shop. So he wants to learn how to take care of these great big tanks, right?
Yeah.
All right, well let's go get to work. So here we got Adrian siphoning the gravel on the 125 Angel Severn tank. Do about a 25% water change on that today. And we've got our water prepping over here using the API Aqua Central, of course. Alright, now we're going to do the water change on the cichlid tank. We're only going to do about 25% out of that. So we're just draining it off right now. Now we're just filling the tank back up with our little pump setup. Alright, so now we're done with the house. Now it's the fish room's turn. So we're going to start off probably by doing this little 55 because we want to get the redtails out of there and put them back in the 300 and see if they'll get along long enough for the big tank to get set up. So as I said before, we've got these two in this 55, which obviously is not big enough for them. We put this guy down there because he was picking on him too much and he wasn't eating anymore. When we put him in there, he immediately started picking on him. So I had to put the egg crate in there to divide it, but they're both doing good, eating well. So we're gonna go ahead and drain that down a little bit so it's easier to catch them and put them back up into the 300. All right, so Adrian's gonna go ahead and start siphoning that out. We're gonna do the gravel at the same time. Those two have been in it for a minute, so we wanna get that cleaned out, get it all ready for the next fish that we decide to put in there. Alright, so we pulled the medium-sized one out because he started bullying the little one. So he's up in here. We got him in the 300 now. And he'll be fine. Now Adrian is starting the siphon on the 90 gallon. So we're kind of going through the gravel there. And we've got the 90 down about 25%, and Adrian's working on the 300, and of course the catfish keeps coming over thinking it's feeding time, but just keep working on that. Now we've got the puffer tank drained down about 25%. Gonna get that filled back up with water, and Adrian's still working on the 300. So now Adrian's giving this puffer some bloodworms. Because we're right there, he's not very interested in it. Alright, now we're starting to top the 90 off. We still got to put a little bit more in the 55. You can see he's doing alright. And we threw a feeder fish in and he ate it, so even though we changed him tanks today, he's eating. So Adrian's just scrubbing the algae off the front. We do have a big pleco in there, but he's a little lazy, so we got to do this when we're doing the cleanup. Now these two iridescents, they're starting to get too big for this 240, and not the size of the tank, but the size of the openings on the top. So before they get too big to where I can't get them out of the openings, I think today while we're doing the water change, we're going to go ahead and pull them out and throw them in the 300. Alright, see if the little redtail's interested in eating. We did just change his water, so he's still a little aggravated. Go ahead and just drop it, Adrian. And yeah, he'll probably just eat that a little bit later. And of course, as soon as I turn the camera off, he ate it. So he's good. We haven't even filled the water up, and the big guy, he's always hungry. There you go. Now that the 90's filled back up, we're going to go ahead and drop a little bit of food in there for them. As I said, we just did a water change, so some of them are a little irritated, but you can see the Oscar up there eating. Squish up a 2-flex worm. Now we're starting to get the blood parrot's attention. Oh yeah, now we're getting a feeding frenzy going on.
Ow. Ow, can you not?
They're not sure what's worms and what's fingers.
Yeah, they keep biting me.
Alright, Adrian's going to top off the glass fish tank. You can see the water level's a little lower on that, so we don't need to do the water change. We'll just top them off. Got quite a bit of Java moss in there. Live plants always help with not having to do as many water changes. So now that we're topping tanks back off, just making the water. Like I said, we do have a tap water line in the fish room, but we always want to treat that. That way we can neutralize the chlorine and chloramine. So we'll get that filled up and treated. Now we're just filling the 300 back up. Jumpers. Look at that. Back. Look at that. There we go. Dribble back and forth. Go out to get it. Oh, god dang. It's jumping. Oh, he's still feisty. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Beautiful. Alright, see if you... Oh, he's pouting. There we go. Okay, now we can fill the 240 back up. You can see all the Oscars, they're kind of chilling out, wondering what just happened. We got one hiding even. And now the iridescents are in the 300. I think they'll be much happier in there. Gives a little bit of activity to that tank because the redtails are kind of boring till feeding time. Now we have the 2 bala sharks and the 2 iridescent sharks. So it looks like there's actually something in the tank. And of course we've got the redtails there. Got the clown knife. He always hides right there. And the other redtail is right there. So that's looking good. And now the Oscars won't have those high-speed sharks running around there. Now, a quick little update on the arowana. See if he'll let me film him. He gets a little skittish. See, he's actually getting a little bigger now. He's about 6 inches. And the two little clown knifes are hiding in there. And the super red Pocosmus is looking pretty cool. Now the little redtail, he has the entire 55 gallon to himself, other than the two rosies that he hasn't eaten yet. But you can see he's a pretty boy. He's just not quite big enough to fend himself in there. But soon. So there we go. So yesterday I did a little feeding with the nephews. They loved that. They thought that was the greatest thing ever. Got all the tanks cleaned up today. Did a lot of moving around. So we've got the little red-tailed cat in the 55 by himself. We've got the medium red-tailed cat back in the 300 where he belongs. We've moved the two iridescent sharks into the 300. So now the Oscars have the 240 to themselves. And it definitely makes this tank a little more lively having those sharks in there. So if you guys like this video, make sure to give it that thumbs up. Don't forget to click the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. And we'll see you in the next one.